So this is Maya. As you can see, Maya has really curly hair. We really like the texture. We just thought that it was a little bulky through the sides and the back. So we really want to slim that down and create a more interesting kind of profile shape. So to start, we're going to take a section, kind of work the bottom of the haircut first and then the top. So I'm just sectioning along the parietal ridge. So you can see down from the front hairline down into kind of the middle back there. Going to start with a slightly diagonal section and pull the hair straight out from the head and just cut a graduated line that's a little longer at the top, shorter in through the nape. So section 2 comes straight out from the head using section 1 as the guide. Section 3 comes straight out using section 2 as the guide. So I'm not really over directing forward, more or less just pulling straight out from the head and working around the head shape using the previous section as a guide. But it's very much a kind of classic round graduation. So it's longer at the top, it gets shorter in towards the bottom. So my finger angle is really diving in towards the bottom of the hairline and into the nape once we go around the ear and through the back. She has really thick hair, so it's a little difficult to see kind of the subsectioning, but taking really small sections and just working through till we get through to the center. And you can see here really pulling it tight down into the nape area. But as I've worked around, just continuing to pull each section straight out from the head, a little bit longer through the top of the section, and getting tighter into the bottom. As we switch to the opposite side, it's the exact same thing. You can kind of see where it meets in the middle there. I'm going to work with my fingers pointed down, just because the diagonal angle of the section causes me to have to switch my finger position. It allows me to be more consistent if I do this way. So again, section 2 coming straight out. Section 1 is the guide, longer on top, shorter at the bottom, creating a graduated shape. And then just repeating that process. Keeping the hair consistently damp on both sides ensures that the stretch on the hair will be the same. Kind of worked in around behind the ear now. So on these next couple sections, my over direction is a little bit stronger on this side than it was on the opposite side. What we wanted to do was leave a slight disconnection in the back, almost like a little fin of weight, just something a little different than the opposite side. So now I'm really over directing everything over to that corner that sits behind the ear, but still utilizing the same cutting line. So it's still longer on the top, shorter on the bottom as it gets into the nape. But now it's just going to get a little bit longer on this side than it did on the other side. So you can really see the over direction there. See that kind of buildup of weight that sits right there. Just a little point. So through the top, we're going to take a section that goes across from the left side to the right side, and then going to cut a layer using some of the shorter bits from the graduation on the bottom and connecting through to the top. Section 3 comes back to section 2, but it's the same thing here. So angling my fingers, keeping it really flat and square as I work up, but what's going to cause it is going to get longer on that left side. So the over direction is causing it to get longer in the front, and the finger angle is causing it to get longer through the left side. It's a bit more of a creative cut. So here we can see how far back I'm over directing, starting to run out of hair. And I'm just going to continue to keep going until it won't reach anymore. So here's kind of the finished wet shape. Now as we're working through the fringe, just coming across from the left to the right, and then cutting from the right to the left, taking horizontal sections back, pulling everything forward until I run out of hair. So over directing everything forward. So what's going to cause this to do is be shorter in the front and get longer towards the back. So now what you'll get is the longest point of this haircut will kind of be the middle of the top. So same thing, just over directing the hair forward, cutting it on the same line. Now just kind of messing with it, moving it around a bit and seeing what the texture is going to do. Allowing the curl to kind of sit up. So we went through and dried it with a little bit of the curl cream. And now I'm going through and refining the edges. So just using the tips of the scissors, just pointing and refining and creating a line that I like. I want a really graphic outline with this, using the trimmers to kind of clean up some of those excess hairs. But this is the fun part of the haircut, getting to kind of go through and refine these little edges and create something different out of the shape. So on the opposite side, coming back through, working up a really strong line on the front perimeter up into the hairline, using the trimmers to just clean that up a bit. Definitely not your everyday haircut, but it's something interesting for her. Again, with the tips of the scissors, just to kind of soften that line out a bit. Working up around the ear, just to create a stronger kind of graphic outline, and then coming in through the back and connecting that up into the line behind the ear. And then just using the trimmers to clean up any of the excess neck hair. So you can see a really strong shape, something that's going to stand up and be noticed. So just using some of the texture spray. I really don't have to do too much to the hair. It already kind of styles itself. Again, we just let it air dry with the curl cream. Now just going in and kind of stretching some of that curl out, separating a bit, letting the shape kind of take life. This is a fun one for sure. Really strong graphic shape. Something that works really well with her texture. Hope you guys like it.